yeah, for me, courage is when you do something although you're afraid. And you're afraid because there's either a real danger involved or an imagined danger involved. And the more fear and danger that's involved, the more courage it takes. And sometimes it's real, the danger. So if there's a burning house, there's a real danger that if I go into the house that I can get burnt or injured. But sometimes the danger is imagined and it's not as real. So for example, like I'm very introverted, I'm very shy. I don't tend to go up to people and just talk to them. And I've often been at events or parties or whatever it is where there's people that I want to get to know and I want to talk to. And I guess the fear that I have is, that they'll reject me, that it'll be awkward, they won't like me, all kinds of things. But, really I'm not in danger. Nothing's really going to happen. But it's still like I still feel nervous and I still feel that kind of a fear. So when I go talk to them, that takes courage for me. It might be small, and for others it might not be a deal. Extroverts, for them it takes nothing. So yeah, courage is just doing something when you're afraid, and either there's a real or imagined danger involved.
So courage for me means something where there's a risk involved of getting hurt. Sometimes it could be something, as Sahaja said, physically. More often than not, though, it's not something that it's a dangerous situation. More it's like an emotional or mental thing where you might be fear of the unknown and feeling the fear and do something anyway. Where it's courageous to take a risk. It's courageous to try something new. It's courageous to tell someone that you love them for the first time. All of these are situations where we feel something and we don't know how it's going to turn out, and we're putting ourselves at risk of feeling hurt. And so being able to become an entrepreneur or many, many other things out there. And I think it's truly a way to actually build strength, resilience, growth, because it takes courage to try something new and to make a change.
I realized that a lot of what I have with courage is more. It feels very grounded. It feels very, like strong also. So for example, like Rosa Parks came to mind. What she did was very courageous, standing up for something that she believed in, and risking. She knew, of course, that she could risk violence. She could risk even death at that point. And for me, that was very, when I thought of the word courage, that's what came up. And now I relate it more to like very small things. Something like, you're in a dinner with friends and someone starts, talking behind someone else's back. For me, I was like, well, that the courageous thing to do, that thing of, just standing up and being like, hey, I don't think it's a good idea, or I don't think it's kind, to be talking behind someone else's back. That right there is an act of courage. And I was like, oh my gosh, Rosa Parks, me at a dinner. And I tend to do that. And I think it's just very understandable because the times that we live in right now have changed. And although we are, of course, in dear need of the Rosa Parks of our day, we, of course, we know we have a very violent world at the moment. And maybe always, I'm not sure. But this seemingly little things can take us very, very far. I think that, standing up for what we believe in, no matter what it is, no matter how small, no matter how big, it's always, the impact in us will always be good. And, sometimes our effects in the world might be, bigger. Our impact in the world might be bigger. Sometimes it might be smaller. But the change it does in you, within ourselves, I think that's the most important thing about courage or doing courageous acts. I mean, and other examples in my life, I think there are, just several, but it is for me like that, like the small things, a courage with my children. Sometimes it's when you mess up, and I forgot about an important appointment that one of them for one of them was very important, and it's like having, and maybe this kind of like blends with humility, but like having the courage to say, I'm sorry, honey, like that was on me, and resist the urge to blame technology, and the alarm didn't sound or didn't ring, or my calendar didn't let me know, or whatever. I do have those urges to do that, and I think one of the things that, again, I think this one in particular blends with humility is like, or vulnerability, having the ability to be like, okay, well, this was on me, and I always tell them, it's not about not making mistakes, it's about how to make up for them. So yeah, there's just having the courage of saying I'm sorry. I think that goes, or can go, a long way.
The one thing I want to sort of add or maybe emphasize is what Angelica said about how it affects you personally to do a courageous act. So doing something when you feel afraid, when you don't want to, and doing it anyway, to me is very self-defining. And it's because, in the instance where you really have the choice, you can go ahead and do it, or you cannot. So what does it mean to do it? What kind of person are you to do it? What is the thing that you're prioritizing that makes you do the scary thing? Step up to the mic, and do the karaoke, or, put your name in, for that promotion, ask that person out on a date. It's, regardless of the outcome, it says something about you, and you're putting your mark on the world, and you're not obeying just the comfortable, the familiar, safe path, and you're charting something new. Like, it's important to be able to pursue the things you want in the face of discomfort or resistance that you have. That really shouldn't be honored. There are times where I don't want to do something because it is uncomfortable, inconvenient, puts me at some sort of emotional risk. I'm worried about being embarrassed, thinking of the worst possible outcome, and I want to avoid the worst possible outcome, although I want the best possible outcome. And I want to be able to go for it.